Welcome to Downtown Sports. My name is Downtown Stephen Brown, and in today's video, guys, let's talk about Game 6, heading into Game 7. If you're looking at this game at a glance, from the shot attempts to the actual shots, to the scoring chances, to the high danger shot attempts, to the expected goals, to the actual goals at 5-on-5. At 5-on-5, these stats are at 5-on-5. The Toronto Maple Leafs played their best road game of the entire series in Game 6. The story from Games 3 and 4 was that Tampa Bay was able to hard match Anthony Cirelli, Braden Point, and Alex Killorn up against Austin Matthews in that line and effectively shut them down and even dominate them. But in Games 5 and 6, it really didn't matter who was out there for Tampa Bay. Austin Matthews was playing like Austin Matthews. The game plan of Game 5 to just let your best players be your best players and play them as much as possible was the same game plan that the Maple Leafs featured in Game 6. And the Matthews line and the variations of it were great. Matthews scored a goal. John Tavares had two, even though his line didn't really play all that great at 5-on-5. The guy who we were asking to show up showed up in Game 6 in a large way. But before John Tavares scored those two goals, it was Jason Spezza having a conversation with him. I can't find the exact clip of the two having a conversation. This is a different clip of Jason Spezza having a conversation with everyone on the bench just to get everyone back on the same page and calm down. But later on, after that conversation that Spezza had with Tavares, I don't know if it was 2-1 or 2-0 at that point, but those guys would go on to hook up for a goal in the dying seconds of the second period, and then Tavares would come back and score the go-ahead goal before the period closed out. If you're looking at the defensive pairings in this game, Jake Muzzin and TJ Brody played great like they've been playing all series long. And Riley and Lyubushkin, it's nice to see that they had a good game in that one. There were several moments where Morgan Riley made awesome defensive plays in that game. And it's nice to see because in games 3 and 4 on the road in Tampa Bay, that pairing got absolutely cooked. And I don't know if there was a specific matchup that Tampa Bay wanted, but they were getting it in those games. Through 2 periods of game 3, that pairing was at 1.8 expected goals for. So it's nice to see that they had a good game in that one. And we didn't get the Justin Hall brain fart moment in this game. It came from somebody else, and we'll get to that in about a minute from now. But him going one-on-one with Nikita Kucherov and finding a way to get his stick in and knock it away, that pairing again at 5-on-5 was good. The Maple Leafs lost this game because of unforced errors. And we'll talk about the officiating afterwards, but I want to have a conversation about this first. Alex Kerfoot's skating through the neutral zone at 4-on-4, and at this point, he's already done a bit of a lap around the neutral zone trying to find an entry. So he skates it over the red line, he does a bit of a shoulder check, sees that TJ Brody is around him, and then decides to do a drop pass, but obviously, TJ Brody's not expecting it at all. He's not even looking at him at this point, and Andre Palat is going to take it back and score. Maybe that's just their system at 4-on-4, kind of treat it like a power play because there's so much more open space where if you can't find a clean entry into the offensive zone, you drop it back and regroup. But at the same time, you don't practice 4-on-4 very often, but you can't make that play without communicating. I know that he did the bit of a shoulder check, but communicate with each other out there. If you're going to drop it back like that, it's basically a grenade. And you don't chuck a grenade without saying, fire in the hole. The 2-0 goal is a failed power play entry where the second unit is out there, and Mikheyev is going to try to pass this puck over to Michael Bunting along the wall, but the problem with that is that Anthony Cirelli, the Lightning player here, knows exactly what he's going to do before he even does it. So Anthony Cirelli gets aggressive, steps up on the play, and he intercepts that pass, and it's Mark Giordano versus Anthony Cirelli in a one-on-one battle, and for the most part, Giordano stays with him. He catches an edge at the last second, isn't too strong on him, and Cirelli scores. Mark Giordano at 38 is not the fleetest of foot anymore. But at the same time, that's not the thing to be most upset about on this goal. The thing to be most upset about is Anthony Cirelli knowing exactly what you're going to do before you even do it. That's not beating you with his skating or anything other than his mind. That's just it can't happen. The unforced errors cost the Maple Leafs 2 goals. I'm not going to deny that. The officiating in this game, though, it's weird to me. You call a series one way, games 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5, and then halfway through game 5, you switch the standard completely And now nobody really knows what's going on. But not only do you switch the standard, but this is the David Kampf high stick that started the 5-on-3 mess, and this is a Frank Saravalli tweet with a video from somebody else, and I'm just going to play it for 2 seconds. 2 seconds, NHL. The stick comes up, and it hits him in the shoulder. And I read the rule over, which Frank provided in the replies to this, and it says, if the stick makes contact above the shoulders. Above the shoulders. When I read above the shoulders, well, your shoulders can't possibly be above your shoulders. So I'm thinking neck, chin, jaw, your cheeks, your face, anything. That's not a high sticking penalty. And it's a great sell job from number 52, Cal Foot. And then this is the other high stick that puts the Lightning on that 5-on-3 that they would score on to send this game into overtime. And I get it. Watching the replay, Victor Hedman's stick comes up, it lifts Kerfoot's, and his stick goes right into Hedman's face. The referee sees this. I don't know what angle he got. I don't know what they saw, but they see a stick in the face. They're more than likely going to call it. At that point, it's not a challengeable play. It's not a play that they can review. The refs can convene and do it, but they have to do that on their own accord. You got to be responsible for your own stick, but at the same time, Hedman's stick comes up. It's a weird argument to get into. My biggest problem with this penalty is that the Leafs are already on the penalty kill at this point, and you're 200 feet from your net. You're 200 feet from your own net, Kerfoot. I admire the fight that you're trying to win this puck battle with, but you're 200 feet from your own net, man. There were others, but I'm not going to nitpick. Instead, I'm just going to point out the most egregious one, and that's Alex Killorn on Austin Matthews here, holding on to the back of his jersey. And I know I played a quick little snippet of the David Kampf Phantom high stick, and I don't think I'm going to get dinged for a half a second. I really hope I don't get demonetized for that, but this one here, if I played the clip for you, I definitely would get the video claimed by the NHL because he holds on to the back of his jerseys for a full 6 seconds. I counted. It's Austin Matthews dragging Alex Killorn around the offensive zone while he holds on to the back of his jersey like he's playing Tony Hawk Pro Skater 2, holding on to the back of a bus trying to get some speed to do a kickflip. They showed the graphic on the broadcast a couple of days ago, but the series between the Toronto Maple Leafs and the Tampa Bay Lightning, it's by far the most penalized series in the entire first round. If you're comparing and contrasting the Calgary-Dallas series, which I still believe is the lowest penalized series, there's like triple or quadruple the amount of penalty minutes called here. And the team who has gotten the most power plays has won every single game in this series so far. I don't care how the game is called. There could be no power plays. There could be 100. I really don't care. I really don't care as long as it's consistent. We need to know what the standard is, because going into this series, Sheldon Keefe said that he expected it to be borderline violent. And in game one, he dressed Kyle Clifford and Wayne Simmons. And as the series went on, you can clearly tell that you're not going to be able to sway momentum with physicality in this series or plays after the whistle. You know, you're not going to be able to get under the other team's skin before the ref blows the whistle and puts you on the penalty kill. So he changes his lineup to match that. But halfway through game 5 and in game 6, they completely switched up the standard. I need to know which one it is, because if they're not going to call anything, then I want Clifford and Simmons in the lineup. At least one of them. And if they're just going to call everything, then I want more speed in the lineup. But I need to know which one it is so that we could respond accordingly. If we're looking at the 5-on-5 numbers in this series, the Maple Leafs are losing the battle in terms of the shot attempts, the actual shots, the scoring opportunities, and the high danger shot attempts. But they control the expected goal margin ever so slightly, and they are outscoring the Lightning 12-10 at 5-on-5. And even though these numbers aren't the greatest, the series is extremely close, and that's why we're going to a game 7. But I feel like if the refs are going to put their whistles away and we can get more consistent 5-on-5 time, then we can get Austin Matthews into the game and rolling. And if you can get Austin Matthews into the game and rolling on a consistent basis, like we saw halfway through game 5 when the referees put away their whistle, and then again in game 6, even though the Lightning had last change, even though they had the crowd on their side, even though they had the refs on their side seemingly at different points in that game, the Maple Leafs were able to make it a very, very close game and even control the majority of the play at 5-on-5. In the Austin Matthews era, the Maple Leafs have lost 8 straight games in which they had an opportunity to eliminate their opponents. And Saturday, they're going to get another opportunity to get another crack at the can. And I'm already seeing some fans saying that it's done, that it's over, that they're cursed, that they can't possibly win a game 7, that this year isn't different than any of the other years. And I'm not going to tell a Leaf fan how to feel going into game 7. That would just be stupid. But I get it. I understand. What I will say is that Jake Muzzin is in this lineup and he's played awesome so far this series. And that's something that we haven't had in pretty much all of those other elimination games. Austin Matthews, Mitch Marner, they're playing great in this series. You worried about those guys going into game 7? Why? John Tavares, he's healthy this season. He's shown up in games 5 and 6. He's here. You know, William Nylander, Willie, you got 7 points in 6 games. Probably another icing that you could have probably beaten out last game, but you kind of pulled up a little bit. Can you beat out an icing call for us in game 7? Jack Campbell is out-dueling Andrei Vasilevsky, and it sounds incredible, but then you look at both goalie save percentage, and maybe that's not too impressive, but then you'll get the 5-on-5 numbers, and Jack Campbell's played pretty damn great in this series so far. He's kept them in games. He's been the reason why they've won the games that they've won. And I don't think he's been the reason why they've lost the games that they've lost. Can you pull it all together for a game 7? Puck drop, I just checked. They changed it. It's 7 p.m. You know, the national anthem, stuff like that. Maybe like 7:05, 7:10. Can you show up from the drop of the puck? And can you win one game? Game 7. Please. I don't know if there's going to be any lineup changes going into game 7. It feels like a day of video. I checked Twitter, didn't see anything as the recording of this video, but if there are any, we'll do a quick 4 or 5 minute video tomorrow just to kind of go over them. And game 7, it's not even that they didn't have killer instinct in game 6. The big guys showed up. They played a great overtime period too. Make sure to like the video if you did like it, and subscribe for more because more is always on the way. And guys, I'll see you on the other side.